Welcome to this explainer. If you've been looking for a way out of the financial trenches, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're looking at the heavyweights of personal finance, specifically strategies for accelerated debt elimination. We're going to break down the ultimate title fight in credit card debt payoff strategies, analyzing the science, the math, and the psychology of getting completely debt-free. Okay, let's dive into this.
We have to start by acknowledging a pretty harsh reality here. I mean, have you ever stared at your monthly statement and just asked yourself, why am I making zero progress on this credit card debt? You send in a payment, you feel responsible for a minute, but then you check your balance the next month and it feels like absolutely nothing has changed. It is incredibly frustrating, right? It can feel like you're trapped on this financial treadmill, just completely exhausting yourself just to stay in the exact same spot.
But here's the good news. Getting off that treadmill isn't about just throwing random amounts of cash at the problem whenever you feel like it. It requires a structured, intentional system. And when it comes to accelerated debt elimination, there are exactly two undisputed champions we need to look at. And what we're going to discover is a really fascinating truth about personal finance. How you pay your debts matters just as much as what you pay.
Contender 1. The Snowball Method.
Let's meet our very first strategy in this showdown. It's a super popular, incredibly powerful behavioral tool. The debt snowball is a strategy prioritizing the payoff of debts from the smallest balance to the largest to build psychological momentum. Now, I want you to notice that word, psychological. This method completely ignores interest rates. It doesn't care about the math at all. It cares about human behavior. It leans heavily into behavioral science because it recognizes that staying motivated is usually the absolute hardest part of any long-term goal.
Let's move to and see how this builds. The execution is incredibly straightforward. Step 1. You list all of your debts strictly by their balance size, from the tiniest amount you owe all the way to the absolute largest. Step 2. You pay the minimums on absolutely everything else. You don't default, obviously, but you give them only the bare minimum required. Step 3. You take every single extra dollar you have, and you aggressively attack that smallest balance until it is totally gone. So why do we do it this way? Because early, small victories build unstoppable momentum. Think of an actual snowball rolling down a snow-covered hill. It starts small, right? Maybe just a handful of snow. But as it rolls, it packs on more and more, gaining size, gaining speed, and gaining heavy momentum until it becomes massive. Well, it turns out, when you knock out that first small credit card balance, your brain actually gets a hit of dopamine. You feel victorious. You take the money you were using for that card, roll it into your next smallest debt, and that psychological momentum keeps you fiercely dedicated to the whole process.
Contender 2. The Avalanche Method.
But what if human psychology isn't the only way to win this fight? Enter the debt avalanche. This strategy prioritizes the payoff of debts from the highest interest rate to the lowest for maximum mathematical efficiency. So instead of rolling a snowball from the ground up, you are triggering an avalanche from the very peak of the mountain, crashing down on your most expensive, most toxic debts first. This is really for the analytical mind, the person who hates the idea of paying the banks a single extra penny in interest.
The actionable steps here closely mirror the snowball, but they target a completely different metric. Step 1, you list all your debts, but this time strictly by the interest rate, from the highest percentage down to the lowest. Step 2 remains exactly the same. Pay the minimums on everything else. Step 3, you ruthlessly attack the debt with the highest interest rate until it hits zero. So the crucial point is, this is the path of maximum mathematical efficiency. By eliminating your highest interest rates first, you are bleeding way less money over time. On paper, in a perfectly rational spreadsheet, the Avalanche method guarantees that you will pay the absolute least amount of money to the banks over the lifetime of your debt payoff journey.
The Showdown. Snowball versus Avalanche.
Okay, so we've seen the behavioral hack, and we've seen the mathematical powerhouse. It is time to figure out which of these two strategies is the ultimate winner for accelerated debt elimination. And this brilliantly illustrates the core tension between these two approaches. On one side, we have the snowball, driven entirely by psychological wins. It recognizes that humans are emotional creatures who need encouragement. On the other side, we have the avalanche, driven entirely by mathematical efficiency. It operates on pure financial logic, optimizing every single dollar.
We can really clearly break down the trade-offs here. If you choose the snowball, your target is the smallest balance, and your primary benefit is unstoppable momentum. You feel good, and you feel it quickly. But, you might pay slightly more in overall interest. If you choose the avalanche, your target is the highest interest rate, and your primary benefit is maximum savings. But
And this is a big but. If that high-interest debt also happens to be a massive balance, it might take you months or even years to see that first account close, which can seriously test your willpower. Neither method is fundamentally wrong. They just serve entirely different personal realities and personality types.
Which brings us to the ultimate verdict of this explainer. The best method isn't dictated by a calculator, and it isn't dictated by a behavioral psychologist. The best method is simply the one you will actually stick to. If you're someone who loses interest fast and needs a quick win to stay in the game, well, the mathematically perfect avalanche might actually cause you to quit, making it the wrong choice for you. Personal consistency will beat perfect math every single time.
So, the final step is to just take an honest look in the mirror. You have the tools and you understand the structure. The only thing left to decide is your personal motivation. Ask yourself right now, are you driven by quick wins or cold hard math? Pick your champion, structure your plan, and start your debt-free journey today. But it really makes you wonder, if our brains can be tricked into conquering debt through small dopamine hits, what other financial habits could a little behavioral psychology completely transform? Thanks for watching.